Hey guys, I am in Florida right now. I'm visiting Disney World, and I just wanted to share with you guys the resort I'm staying at. It's Disney's Pop Century Resort. The whole place is based off like different decades from 1950 to 1990s. And anyways, yeah, I just wanted to just give you a little tour, share the place with you. I'm not like this is not an informative video as far as like prices or booking or anything like that. Again, it's just a tour of the place. So come along with me and I'll show you around. So I'm doing this at night, for one because it's obviously much cooler outside, and it's also usually about the only time I'm here. Here sometimes during the day, but more often than not during the day I've been gone at the parks. But yeah, I just want to show you this real quick. So as you can see, they've got numerically the different decades: 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980 to 1990, all out here in the front of the building. So here's the main entrance of the building. Just gonna head in. See, they got all these little chairs, little kid area, cartoons and stuff to watch for the kids, or live action kid movies. Here's all the check-in desks. Bunch of artwork, memorabilia. Yeah, it may just be all memorabilia here on the walls. Got a little Mickey phone up there on the wall. Those were classic back in the day. And over here, you got everything pop, shopping and dining. Come in here and take a look real quick. So as you can see, just got a gift store, just like clothes and little trinkets and memorabilias. Pretty cool. We got some more over here on this side. Got a bunch of plushies. And these things are kind of cool. I've been seeing these around here at Disney World. They're like little magnet characters. You can just have them sit on your shoulder. Got Yoda, one of those little bird things. Got little baby Groot. And this one, I like this one. This is from Emperor's New Groove. Kronk, he had the little angel and devil on each shoulder. You can get one of these and they separate. You can magnet one to each shoulder. It's kind of cool. Now something I tend to get a lot of times, a lot of places I visit are magnets. This is a magnet I happened to purchase the other day myself to add to my collection of different places I've been and visited. So here's another thing. They got these little collector's mugs. It's got the more modern version of Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Daisy and Goofy on it for Walt Disney World. But yeah, you get one of these collector's mugs and it allows you to get free refills your whole entire visit here at the resort, as well as other resorts around Disney World as well. So here's the cafeteria. And you see a bunch of dining tables and come over here. Got a fountain drink section. You know, that's what if you had one of the collector cups, you come over here and fill it up here. And then if you want something to eat, there's where you go and order. There's the registers. You go and ring up your food orders. Unless you already have yourself a meal plan set up here at Disney World. All right, exiting the cafeteria and the gift store. Across from it is Fast Forward Arcade. Come in here and check it out real quick. Just an arcade room. You know, Tacoma. Kill some time, have some fun while you're here at the resort. Got a big, huge Pac-Man game right here. All right, heading back outside at the back area. Go to where the actual hotel rooms are at. As you come out here, they got this place called Pedals, this little drink and snack bar. But over here, a little further to the right, they have, let me get closer and I'll show you. They got this area. You can do a couple of things here. You can have your luggage dropped off here from another location and pick it up. You can order groceries and stuff online, and you come here to pick it up. All right, so let me go show you the actual decade-themed buildings now. I'm gonna start out at the 90s building and work my way back up to the 50s, just because the 50s is where I'm actually staying. And that way I can finish this little tour up where I'm at and go back to my room when it's done. Now here is something I didn't see until just now as I was heading towards the 90s building. It's a playground for kids. It's locked up right now. It's all in the dark. There's no lights. It says open from dawn until dusk. Just something to know about. Should you possibly be considering to come stay and visit at these hotels and got little kids. Here you can see it says classic 90s. Okay, so until the filming of this, me walking around and doing this, I had not seen any more than just the 50s and 60s buildings. So apparently it seems like the 90s is the smallest of all of them. All right, so out here by the 90s building, they got this huge laptop. All the buildings have things that were like, you know, released or popular, like pop culture wise on them. Like over here, you also can see some rollerblades, and it looks like a CD up there or something. And up at the top, way up, and this is another thing a lot of them have too. They got like these sort of caricatures of people dancing, you know, looking like they're decades. It says up here, keeping it real, hip hop. And up here at the top of this other building, it says, whatever, surf the net. I'm not entirely sure if that's what this is, just because it looks red and yellow out here. I was never a huge Pokemon fan myself. I was a little old for that when that came out, but I have seen what looks like some Pokemon balls on here as well. Over here, on the other side of this big laptop, this one definitely looks like a Pokemon ball right there. So yeah, like I said, all of these decade buildings are like that. The rest of them I think have a bit more than the 90s. Like I said, the 90s apparently seems to be the smallest section of the whole place. So now I've entered the 80s section. See the swimming pool, everybody over there swimming. Now I do believe they have a closing hours, you know, when you can't swim, but I'm not sure what those are. I haven't myself been swimming here since I've been here. All right, so here you see like characters breakdancing, and up here at the top it says "To the max." Radical, you know, just slang of the time as well. Something else on the side of this particular building, they got Pac-Man characters, as well as you know, these little lines, kind of almost making it look like the little board that Pac-Man will go through. And then you got a couple of the Pac-Man ghosts, a little orange one there, a blue one. And this is something that the 90s building didn't have that all the rest of them seem to. Is here you got Roger Rabbit. Like I said, again, all of these buildings, except for apparently the 90s that I saw, have big old like figures of animated characters that were released in movies of that decade. So we're in the 80s now. And again, this is a Roger Rabbit on a barrel of turpentine that erased or melted tunes. Roger Rabbit was like my absolute favorite movie when I was a kid growing up. All right, and over here on the other side of the 80s on this building, it says "Totally Awesome." Psych. Another thing each of these decades buildings has is around the stairs, they've got different items. Like here, for example, the 80s building, they got giant Rubik's Cube at the stairs. Here they got a giant sports Walkman, Sony. And a lot of these items, like these big ones, the Walkman here for the 80s or the laptop at the 90s, are usually right in front of like the elevators and stairs. Also over here at the pool that both the 80s and 90s buildings share is a stack of floppy disks for old computers, and another one just standing up leaning against them. So I guess you might want to be aware, I just now saw this as I was walking. Little baby snake slithering across the sidewalk here. So something to be aware of and look out for when you're here at the resort or in Florida, whichever is new to you if you come. All right, so here for the 80s and 90s building that share, they have these figurines of Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, which is actually kind of fitting because, you know, I think the movie Toy Story, if I'm not mistaken, I believe came out in the 90s, late 90s, I think. And but the actual toys, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, I know those existed at least in the 80s. I think that's when they came out. I know they were popular back then. All right, so now we've reached the 70s building. Here by their stairs, they got this big old 8-track tape, which is a way they used to listen to music back then in the 70s. It says 70s Stadium, Greatest Rock Hits. And this says physical, intellectual, and emotional. Boogeyman Records. And then they got this other 8-track tape over by the other set of stairs. This one says easy listening, sweet sounds of the 70s, Love Records. Here you got looks like a ring of some kind. I'm sure everyone from the 70s is probably going to be like trying to tell me exactly what that is, and I'm sure I've heard of it myself, but it just doesn't come to me. All right, here they got a bunch of bell-bottom shoes all over, and looks like a couple people probably disco dancing on the side. Up here it says "Have a nice day," which I guess must have been a popular thing to say in the 70s maybe, and "Boogie Down." And over here, by their stairs, they've got a giant old Mickey Mouse phone. And unlike the rest of the decades that all have their own pools, the 70s, where a pool would be at most any of the rest, have this giant, bigger than life-size foosball board. All these little soccer players and the soccer ball. And over here, across from the Mickey phone, the big Mickey phone, you got this giant, big wheel tricycle that little kids like to ride. Apparently, I guess that came out in the 70s. Still popular today, I believe. Polyester. That was something that was popular to wear in the 70s. Here, in the 70s sections, these multicolored little spinning circles on what looks like is supposed to look like a disco dance floor. And here is old Twister game. They got the board on the ground, a bunch of seats around it, and it even has the board itself. So, you know, you and friends and family come out and you want to play Twister, there you go. Although, I'm thinking, because this is standing up the way it is, I think it's going to almost always point down. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess if you really want to play, you might have to have your own Twister board that you bring with you. Alright. Now I'm about to enter the 60s area. And here they got a Goofy with a surfboard. Alright, so here at the 60s buildings, at the stairs, they got these yo-yos, big giant yo-yos. It says Duncan Imperial's yo-yo tops. And here you see they got a bunch of peace signs and flowers. Here it says peace, love, and happiness. And here by the stairs at the 60s building, they've got both Baloo and Mowgli, because the Jungle Book, you know, came out in the 1960s. That was when it was released in theaters. As you can see, it's pretty active here at the pool still. I thought they had a closing time, but it's like literally 11 o'clock right now. And this, out of all the pools, this one's the most active. Always seems to have the most kids in it. So, just something to think about and consider if you're looking to get a room here. Might make it a little difficult to sleep at night, possibly. Alright, they've also got this little like baby sort of wading pool here over at the 60s building. No babies in it right now. Okay, so the lifeguard actually just blew a whistle shortly after I said that it was like 11 o'clock and people are still swimming. And people do seem to be getting out of the pool now. And I see right here, yeah, pool hours, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. So, yeah, just a heads up if you get the 60s building and you're by the pool. All right, over here on the other side, across from Baloo and Mowgli, is a Play-Doh jar, can, mug, whatever it is that Play-Doh comes in, what you call it. And it's got like a little elephant and giraffe. I'm not sure if those are characters from any sort of animated thing that came out in the 60s, but Play-Doh, at least, I guess, must have come out in the 60s. Alright, one more thing since I'm over here by it. From the 60s building, like if you want to get to like the parks and stuff, you come this way, and they got the sky lifts and stuff to get to the parks. But yeah, that's over here by the 60s building. Alright, so now coming to the 50s building section, where I believe I mentioned earlier, happens to be the section I'm staying in. So here, by the stairs, they got some big bowling pins, you know, because even though bowling is still popular today, I guess it was just a lot more popular in the 50s. Here on the side, they've got a old transistor radio. Here they got some old vinyl records. on the side of the building. Here it says, real hip. You know, that's something that they used to say, I guess, back in the 50s. And you're grounded. Is that a thing like that started in the 50s? Were kids not really grounded back before 50s, or did they just call it something different? I don't know. So here we got in front of the stairs, Lady from Lady and the Tramp. You know, this movie came out, I guess, in the 1950s. Hi, Lady. How you doing, girl? Here you got a couple of 1950s kids dancing or swinging, I think is what they maybe called it back then. Up here it says sock hop and nice wheels. Here's a big old doghouse out in the bushes. And across from Lady on the other side, in front of the other set of stairs and elevators, is a giant figurine of Tramp from Lady and the Tramp. Up here it says poodle skirt and crazy man. Okay, and then also here at the 50s building, they've actually got a third large figurine because this is the end. Sort of like how over at the 80s and 90s, the 90s was the end. There was that big laptop. Well, here, where the laptop was at the very far end of the other side of the resort, here at this far end, you got one of these old jukeboxes from the 50s. And this looks like one of those smaller ones. Like back in the 50s, they would have the full-size jukeboxes and the little miniature ones that would be like at everyone's table, like at a restaurant, and you could just sit at your table and request a song to be played. So here's a elevated view of the swimming pool at the 50s building. Looks like a giant bowling pin. This is from the third floor where my room happens to be at. I'll show you guys the inside of my room too. I don't mind you knowing which room I was staying in, because by the time I share this, I won't be here anymore. I'm in room 2368, third floor. Gotta use your little band to get in. So, here's the inside. TV. Sorry the bed's unkempt. I wasn't expecting company. Got a cute little sign, some Mickey heads above the bed. Oh, and this right here, it looks like a couple little dressers or some sliding dressers, but it actually folds out into a second bed if you got kids or something. You need an extra bed. Here, got this cute little curtain with Mickey saying, "Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy." There you go. That's how he says it, I think. My best impression. A little cooler. Oh, I was actually looking for this earlier when I was in the gift shop. I wanted to show it to you guys, but I couldn't find it. Maybe I bought it in a different gift store. But it's this little Mickey figurine, and it says 2025 Walt Disney World. Just something I got to remember my trip here to Disney World this year. Oh, and here's my Pop Century magnet I was showing you guys in the gift shop that I got. They've got Disney. I guess this is how it must be at all the resorts. I like that troop family. They got their own, like, somehow set up with smart TV, so you can watch TV, Disney Plus on demand. You can connect your device, even though I tried that and it didn't work for some reason. Hotel services, Parks More. You can't get YouTube or, most anything else like Netflix or Paramount Plus, all that stuff. It is limited just to what Disney allows you to see. Got each room comes with a complimentary Trip TV hat. No, I'm just kidding. Those are pretty expensive. How y'all doing? It's the bathroom. So, yeah. Just now you know what the inside looks like too. All right, y'all. So that was the visual tour. If you're looking to come visit Disney World and you're looking at different resorts and this one happens to be one of the ones on your list, well, at least you know what this one looks like now. Anyways, I just want to thank you all for watching. And if you're coming out to Disney World, I hope you all have a good trip. And I hope you all take care. Peace.